Hello, lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. This week's video is something that I pre-recorded, but I'm gonna be totally honest. It felt weird not popping on here and being like, "Hi, I'm thinking about you. I'm rooting for you. I hope you're hanging in there." And I wanted to remind you that we still have that 50% off deal. If you use code WEGOTTHIS, you can get 50% off 6 months access to the master plan, which brings it down to $99.50, which is pretty stinking incredible. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link down below. Be sure to use code WEGOTTHIS. What's today? Today's the 7th. We got 10 more days of this sale going on. So I love you guys. And without further ado, let's just jump right on into the other version of Jamie that's about to come at you. Am I wearing the same outfit that I've worn in a previous video? Yes. Is it because I'm filming them on the same day? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm on a roll. Like, I'm just feeling like I've got some ideas and I just want to film them. And I didn't want to change because this top is cute and I already put on the false lashes. So here we are. This is a follow-up video to a video that I literally just recorded, but you guys probably saw a few weeks ago. And it's basically the 5 things that you have to have at your wedding. If you do nothing else, just have these 5 things. And I was like, and filming that video got me thinking, what are things that people think they have to do, but they don't have to have? Like, you just don't have to have it. And of course, then my mind gets going and I come up with a list of things. So I have a list of 11 things that you do not have to have and or do at your wedding day. Here's me, a wedding planner, giving you permission to ditch any and all of these things. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. So these are considered to be traditional items that most people feel like they have to do. So we're here to knock a few of these off your list if you're not interested. Number 1, you don't have to have a registry. You don't have to have a traditional registry. You don't have to register for China or a gravy boat that you're convinced you're never gonna use. I did do a video with Bed Bath & Beyond on non-traditional registry items, like for couples who already have all the stuff and they don't need anything else. I'm gonna link it up here. If you guys are in that position, don't feel like you have to register for normal things or register at all. There, I said it. You don't have to. You can do a honeymoon fund, or you can just say, in lieu of gifts, make a donation to a place. You know, like, you don't have to do it. Second thing you don't have to have is any form of bridal party at all whatsoever. If you want one, great. If you don't want one, you don't have to. I've now worked with multiple couples who have had no maid of honor, no best man, no bridal attendants at all whatsoever. And that didn't mean that they weren't getting ready with friends in the morning. All of these brides have still had friends and or family members come in for hair and makeup and spend time sipping on champagne and laughing and, you know, blaring music as they're getting ready. And the groom still has plenty of people to get ready with. So I'm not saying that you have to spend your wedding morning alone, but what I am giving you is permission to not feel beholden to that tradition. A lot of people are shying away from it, and that is a-okay. In addition to that, you don't have to have a flower girl or a ring bearer, especially if you don't have any small children who are an important part of your life, and then you're like scrounging around just basically looking for anybody with a cute baby to toss on down the aisle before you. Like, you don't have to. Ring bearers, we've had one lose a ring before. Flower girls, you know, we've had one have a meltdown halfway down the aisle and then couldn't make it any further. And I relate. I can understand her feelings in that moment. Don't feel like you have to have a child walk down the aisle before you. Now, if there's a child that is precious in your life that you want to highlight and give that honor to, go for it. But if you got no kids in your life, or you're just not interested in having one walk down the aisle, or you don't want kids at your wedding at all, you don't have to have a flower girl or a ring bearer. And you don't have to have it be a child either. A bride of mine actually had her grandmothers walk down as flower girls, and it was one of the cutest wedding moments I've ever experienced in my life. It was so great. The next thing you don't have to have is any form of bachelor or bachelorette weekend. Listen, if Vegas is not your vibe, don't go. If you don't want to do a 2-day event, don't do it. If all you want to do is sit on the couch and eat pizza because you're stressed out of your noodle, do it. Like, that's fine. You don't have to have a bachelor or a bachelorette weekend. If you're feeling pressure from your family members or friends to stick to that tradition, just feel free to send them this video and be like, Jamie told me I didn't have to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. Like, blame me. That's perfectly fine. The next thing that you do not have to have is a big guest count. You don't have to invite everybody you've ever known. You don't. I did do a guest list do's and don'ts video that I'm gonna link up here. But even in that video, watching that back, I know that some people are gonna be like, I can't invite all my cousins. In fact, people in the comments were being like, I can't invite, I've got 73 cousins. If I invite them all, we're gonna have the biggest wedding of all time. Don't feel like you have to invite everyone you've ever known. Don't feel like you have to have a giant guest list for it to feel like a party. I always tell clients, like, if I did it over again, I'd probably have 80 people. Like, maybe a little bit less, because now that I've seen a bunch of events, 80 people is just big enough to feel like a party, but not so big that you can't spend time with everyone. So it doesn't have to be 200 people. It doesn't have to be 150 people. It doesn't have to be 100 people. You do not have to have a big guest list to have a wonderful wedding. Next, you don't have to have a professional officiant. Nope, you don't. And this is coming from someone who's seen non-professional officiants, and I know it's not always great. They just don't know what they're doing. They get uncomfortable. They do weird things with their hands. They go super, super fast. They forget to tell people to sit down. But guess what? You still get married, because professional officiants can be anywhere from like $300 to $600, and they're worth every penny. Now, I am not knocking professional officiants. I love them. I love them so much. My dad is an officiant. Actually, funnily enough, I'm an officiant now. I got a certificate through a company called Wanderlust Bay. They were great. Michael is absolutely hilarious. So if you guys are gonna have a family member or friend officiate your wedding day, I would highly recommend checking out their website. I'm gonna link it down below for you guys. They just give your officiant everything he or she might need to know about being an officiant and how to do it effectively. So, you know, if you want me to lead your ceremony, I probably can't do that and be your wedding planner at the same time. That's probably too many hats for me, but like, fun fact, I'm ordained now. The next thing that you do not have to have is dinner. You do not have to serve dinner. I talked about this in the last video of things that you do have to have. You probably need to feed people something. And if it's not gonna be a full meal, you need to warn them ahead of time. But you can do appetizers. You can do dessert only. You will need to go heavier on those two items. So it's not just gonna be like people get like one little croquette. That's a food thing, right? Or baguettes, or what is it that I'm thinking of? No, tiny finger foods. You will need to have heartier appetizers, but you don't have to serve a full meal. You also don't have to have alcohol. At all. You have, like, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Will people expect it? Possibly. But does that mean you have to serve it? No, not at all. We worked several dry events. People still got on the dance floor and they still enjoyed themselves and they still had a great time celebrating that couple's love story. Okay, like, don't read me for the next one, okay? 'Cause I'm known for this. Okay. You don't have to have cake, especially if you can't afford a cake. Like, don't spend money on a cake if you don't like it and you can't afford it. If Amy with Twin Treats is watching this video, I know she's just wanting to throttle me through the screen right now, but you don't have to serve desserts at all if they're not your speed. You could have a cheese platter, or you could do donuts. You do have options. You don't have to do a cake. I'm not saying that people don't like cake. I'm just giving you permission to not do it. Okay, moving on. Before people murder me in the comments over cake again, I know. Next, you don't have to have a grand entrance or a grand exit. You don't have to. So many couples these days are saying, is it okay if we just like casually walk into the cocktail hour and then go into dinner with everybody? Do we have to do this big thing where the bridal party dances and then it's all cringy? Like, do we have to do that? No. Absolutely not. You do not have to do that. You can simply join, like I said, you can join cocktail hour and then casually go in. You can have a casual announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, please join me in welcoming the bride and bride, or bride and groom. And then people just gently cheer, you walk in, you do the queen wave, and then you go to your seat. Like, it doesn't have to be grand. It could just be an entrance. Just walk in. Maybe they say your names, just casual. No pomp and circumstance, just like a stroll, like a typical Sunday stroll. You also don't need to have a grand exit. You don't need sparklers. You don't need confetti. You don't need bubbles. I love me a good grand exit. I do. I'm setting aside my personal biases for this statement. I love grand exits. I think they photograph so well and they're so cool, but you don't have to have them. Not only do you have to pay your photographer so much money to stay to the very end of the night and cover like 2 to 3 hours of dancing footage that, let's be honest, you're not going to keep all those photos anyways, but they have to stay to the very end of the night for this big moment that you're not into. Like, that's not your speed. You don't want anyone to get potentially caught on fire with a sparkler. You don't want to have to be picking up confetti. You just don't want to do it. Off the hook. Cross it off your list. You don't have to. You can do an Irish goodbye and just like peace out whenever you feel like it. I mean, I'd probably at least recommend saying bye to some people. Or you could stay at the very end of the event. I've had a couple people do that where they just are like, I'm just gonna stay and say goodbye to everybody and soak up as much of this as I possibly can. And I don't want to have a hard out time. Next, you don't have to do a bouquet toss or a garter toss. You don't. I mean, like, I would say 50% of our couples no longer do these. They're just not into them. Like, why? You don't have to. Just skip it if it's not your speed. And you don't have to throw your bouquet. And you don't have to order a toss bouquet. Garters are annoying to wear. The whole like pressure to make it saucier than it should be can be uncomfortable for some people, both the participants and the viewers. Just like full permission, just skip it. Like, not your speed, don't do it. Am I repeating things that you may have seen in other videos? Probably. But one, if you know that, then again, you're just like a fantastic student of my channel and I applaud you and I thank you for being so diligent and watching my videos. But the reason that I repeat these things is because this could be the first video that someone sees on my channel. Like, this could be the first time that they're hearing these things and they showed up here thinking that they had to do this list. And if y'all have been around for a minute, then you know I'm always encouraging you to do what makes you comfortable. I'm always encouraging you to do what's best for you on your wedding day. Not what's best for everybody else, not just following the trends because they're trends, not taking everyone else's opinion into account. I'm here to release you of all of that expectation and responsibility. And I'm sure there's some really dedicated viewers that could like list off all the videos that I've already said these other things in, but this is for the people that haven't seen those. So I'm gonna repeat myself. I'm mom, so like, I repeat myself all the time anyways. Okay. So that's what we have for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders right now. You have my permission. If you haven't done so already, like this video if you like the video and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride finger guns. And until next week, bye guys. Oh gosh.